Welcome to the Accomplish More podcast, created specifically for the small business owner who doesn't think small. I'm your host, Gayla Scrivener. This show is where you'll learn practical ideas, hints, tips, and tricks to help you grow your small business where you can leverage your time and to accomplish more. Hello and welcome to episode number 22 of the Accomplish More podcast. I'm Gayla Scrivener and I thank you for joining me today. The subject that I have on my mind is email. Good old email. For many, it seems like a never-ending battle to combat the chaos of email management. Do you hate your email and find it that you have absolutely no control over it? Or do you have a good handle on it? Either way, today we're going to talk about our inboxes and some tools and habits or practices you can implement to tame the beast that many call email. Did you know that email has been around since 1972? Credited for inventing email, Ray Tomlinson picked the @ symbol to denote sending messages from one computer to another. By 1974, there were hundreds of military users of email systems. Granted, it didn't look exactly how it does today, but it was a form of email. I recently read a cool article about the history of the internet and email. I'll find it again and I'll put a link in the show notes for you. As the internet evolved, so did email. Way back then, the high cost of long-distance phone calls and especially the super high cost of international calls, email seemed like an affordable solution for communication. Over time, email has become a staple of how we communicate, especially in business. Nowadays, some people think that email communication is dead, but it isn't. It is very much alive and well with how business communicates. Big companies email between departments. Meetings are arranged through email. Reports are sent through email. Reminders and policies are sent. It's the culture of communication. But you're a small business. Is email still important? Absolutely. Whether personal or for business, email is, like I said, still alive and well. Think about it. To create any account online, you must have an email address. Email is how companies communicate with us. Often, it's how you communicate to companies. If you're doing online banking, for example, how else will the bank send you notifications? It's through email. Sure, there might be some texting options for notifications from companies, but even your phone carrier wants your email address. It's how we communicate, and it's here to stay, at least for now. So how do you feel about your email? Are you like many people and have several email accounts just to keep track of? Do you have an uncontrollable inbox with thousands of unopened emails lurking there? Do you hate even opening your email because there's just so much stuff there and you don't even know where to begin to organize it? Having control over email accounts is a problem for many people. So if you're feeling overwhelmed here, you're not alone. Email is a wonderful tool and very much a part of any business. You don't have to let emails control you. You can have control and effectively manage your time, your inbox, and accomplish more. Let's talk about a few things about email. First, let's talk about reviewing and processing. If you let it, you can be consumed with reading and answering email all day long. Every time you are interrupted with what you're doing to read and answer an email, you are wasting time. It's not the email that is wasting your time. It's how you allow the interruptions to consume you. What I do is try to keep my inbox to as few emails as possible. Really, I try to achieve the inbox zero goal, but I don't obsess with it on a daily basis. I have a reminder set on a weekly basis to clean out my inbox of things that I might have missed throughout the week. Focused, uninterrupted time to work on any project allows you to be more productive. So the thing to do is cut out distractions when working on any project, right? I turn off notifications for my email on my desktop. That helps me cut out distractions when I'm working on my projects. And even when I'm out and about, even though I get emails on my phone, I have limited notifications coming through to limit my distractions. What this allows me to do is create focused time to review and answer emails a few times a day. It's much more effective and efficient to go through email in batches rather than just one at a time as they come in. To sum up on that point, the first step in gaining more time in your day is to turn off the interruptions of email notifications and make it a habit to set aside focused time to review your email a couple of times a day. Then, for me, once a week or so, I have a little bit longer focus time to clean up anything that I may have missed to get my inbox to 0 status. Don't beat yourself up if you aren't always at inbox 0. I certainly don't, because you know as well as I do, as soon as you get to 0, then more come in. Don't obsess with it. But when you have less to look at in your inbox, it's not nearly as daunting of a task to do on a regular basis. If you are someone who just gets overwhelmed at the very thought of opening your email because your inbox is currently overflowing, here's the thing. It's okay to delete. Seriously, my suggestion is to start your new habits now and open up your email and pick a date. Pick yesterday's date. Or go back a week, whichever you're most comfortable with. Sort your email by date and delete everything older than the date you picked. Yes, I said delete it. Some of you are cringing at the very idea. You may be saying, what if there's something out there that I need? I'm telling you, there is no reason to be an email hoarder. If you are so overwhelmed right now about even opening up your email, you may have trouble even finding what you're looking for anyway. Heck, the chances of you even knowing that something is in there to begin with is slim, because you may have a ton of those unopened items because you have good intentions to come back to it later. But then too much time passes and you don't even ever get back to it. If you have 1,000 emails in your inbox, heck, I know some people who have over 10,000 emails in their inbox. It's time to just delete. Just delete the old and start fresh. Once you delete and don't have as much to deal with, then you can work on getting into a groove with your new routine of trying to achieve inbox 0 and only focus on what you want to and need to focus on. By the way, once you do that massive delete, click on the trash folder and delete permanently. They are gone. It's very freeing. It's like a big weight lifted, and you can look into the future instead of always to the past. Now that you have done a mass delete so you can start fresh, let's shift gears just a bit and talk about some time-saving practices to process your email. For years, I would create folders in my inbox and file things away either based on category or person's name. For example, I may have created a folder called HR and squirreled away any email that had to do with human resource issues. Other folders were created using the names of the people in my department or the ones I worked with the most. When I left the corporate structure into entrepreneurship, I kept that practice, at least for a while. I know a lot of people that have a lot of folders they keep in their email systems as a form of organization. But those folders can make your email cluttered too. Now I do things much differently. For me, I strive to achieve very few emails in my line of sight when I open my email. This helps me focus. So what I do is to get the emails that I really think I must keep out of my email system into another filing system. I'll talk about the two systems I use and why in just a moment, but first I want to go over what pops into your inbox in the first place. I hear many people complain that so much junk comes into their inboxes. Indeed, there are spammers that come through that need to be blocked, but there are also legitimate emails that come through from people or companies that you have requested information from. Those people or companies you may follow and want the information or offers they provide. Sometimes you may follow someone for a while, but then the information they provide doesn't pertain to you any longer. So unsubscribe. Subscribe to those emails that pertain to you at this stage in your business or your life. Unsubscribe to those that you aren't interested in right now. Then the true spam emails from companies that you can't pinpoint a legitimate company based off the email address or the content, then block them or mark the address as spam. Another way to reduce the number of emails hitting your inbox in the first place is to be selective as to what notifications you receive via email. For example, practically all the social media platforms have default notifications, and much of the time, one of those defaults is to be notified by email. To me, it's ridiculous to receive an email every time a person likes, comments, or shares something. I can get the same notification when I open my social media account. Why have another distraction of looking at that notification in my email? It's just ridiculous to me. What I do is go into my social accounts and turn off email notifications on most things. I become very selective of what I want to come into my inbox in the first place. There are offers on some of my accounts that I don't mind, and some of them I find quite annoying. We can set our preferences of what we want to see. For example, I'm okay with seeing the Staples ad come through. I'm thinking I used to get their offers much more often than I do now because I believe I went into my Staple Rewards account and changed the settings as to what kinds of notifications I would see and the frequency. At any rate, I do get very consistent emails from Staples with sales and offers. Most of the time, I simply delete them because I don't want to deal with them. But sometimes they're good because they remind me to get stuff. Even though I'm not opening all of them, they are effective in reminding me of things. There are other companies that I simply set the preferences to not get emails. I follow many people and receive their emails. Whether they fill my need to be inspired or have ideas that I want to stay in contact with them and continue to receive their emails. They send regular emails to me because they know that the consistency of those emails builds trust and relationship. When the information doesn't pertain to me anymore, then I'll likely unsubscribe. Here's the thing though, there may be some weeks or even months in which I feel I don't have time to read and consume the routine emails for those folks that I follow. I used to keep their emails with intentions of going back and reading the ones I missed. Well, that usually didn't happen. But what happened, I had a huge folder in my inbox with a bunch of unread emails. I didn't want to unsubscribe to those folks quite yet. But those emails that I receive from those individuals who I follow, I don't want to have their emails weigh me down and clutter up my inbox. Like I said, I had a folder in my inbox where I would file them away. But that soon didn't work for me because of my goal of inbox 0 with little clutter. Here's what I do. When it's my scheduled time to process email and I don't have the mindset to consume that type of information, I'll glance and make a decision to delete. I don't unsubscribe, like I said, because I still want to get the information and follow them. But my mind is simply not there in the moment. For example, I may be signed up to a list of someone who teaches how to create and promote online courses. I get great information from them. I may realize that I want to get started with that in the future, but not at this very moment. I keep subscribed because I want to stay in contact. I may end up deleting their emails for weeks or months, but then I get this email from them when I'm in the right mind frame, announcing an article or a webinar or even a course that they have to offer, and I'm ready to consume their information. I'll pop over and read their article, attend their webinar, and maybe even buy their course because it was the right time for me. Even seeing their name pass through my inbox, not even opening their email, may prompt me to listen to their podcast or go to their website for some reason. I follow them because I get a benefit from doing so, but that doesn't mean I read and keep up with every single email that I get from them. I have become more selective of those emails that I do keep, but there are some that I really, really want to keep, mainly because I get ideas and inspiration from them. I may like how someone formats their e-newsletter. I may like the info contained in the email, or I may see how others do their email series to help me develop mine. At any rate, there are some that I want to keep in my swipe file and refer back to. I may be working with a client or my own stuff for marketing, and being able to refer back to some of those emails for ideas is quite useful for me. Remember, I said that I used to keep a folder in my inbox for those types of emails? Well, now I don't. What I do is forward the emails that I want to keep, that I truly want to keep, into my Evernote account. I used to have an automation set up in my Outlook account to immediately send emails from certain accounts to Evernote. I quickly found that my Evernote got cluttered with many of those emails that I truly didn't want to keep. So I took that automation out. Now I simply make a quick decision as to whether I open, read, then delete, or forward those types of emails. I only forward the ones that I found interesting, inspiring, or has a good design that I would like to refer back to. I use my Evernote account simply as my idea repository. To quickly recap on that point of how to handle 80% of your emails that would clutter up your inbox. First, turn off email notifications in your social accounts. What's the point of having them anyway in there? Second, it's okay to quickly glance and make decisions to delete, read more closely, save, or unsubscribe. You don't have to keep everything. Third, if you are going to save an email, be selective and make a filing system that works for you, that makes it easy for you to use the information and how you want to. Like I said, I like the promotional type of emails in my swipe file, and my swipe file tool is Evernote. Now that takes care of about 80% of the stuff that comes into your email. The remaining 20% is business stuff that you may need to deal with. Most likely, those are from customers or colleagues with questions or issues that you need to respond and follow up on. 2 habits I've formed in gaining efficiency in processing these types of emails are templates and forwarding the emails to my CRM. First, let's talk about templates. The longer you have your business, the more you'll notice some of the same questions that come in that you have to answer. You'll have some of the same requests. It takes time to carefully write out those responses each and every time. Why recreate the wheel every time when you can create a template? Let's think once what you're going to say and then carefully write it out. Then use them as templates. It won't be impersonal because you can get the bulk of what you typically say in those routine situations into the email and then customize it where you need to. For one of my clients, I help her process customer orders for her. The bulk of her business is in her online training, but she does sell a few of her publications on a monthly basis. We send a nice, friendly thank you email to her customers, which includes shipping info. I certainly don't type out that email each and every time. We worked up a basic wording together, and I created a template. I use the template and personalize it with the customer's name and specific order information. If the need arises because there's a special circumstance, I'll even write up an additional sentence or paragraph. The main thing, I'm not spending time typing out the information each and every time. We've systemized things. It's cool when you begin to develop templates like this that you will be able to delegate to someone to respond to certain types of emails in the future. You don't even have to see those types of routine emails and be assured that they are processed by an assistant instead. It sure feels good to me as my client's assistant to be able to take those order processing emails off of her plate and feel confident that I'm taking care of her customers how she'd like. For her, she likes not being distracted by those types of emails, and she knows that her customers are taken care of. You see, templates are a great thing. It saves you time to think and type a response, and it's something that you can delegate later if you need to. Now the question may be, how do you set those templates up? Some people create Word documents so they can pull up the doc file and copy and paste the message in their email. Although I don't think it's a bad idea to have all your canned email templates in a document of some kind, I don't think you should have to open the document to copy and paste your message. It's a time waster. Use the Word documents as a backup, but you should create the templates within your email for greater efficiency. So how do you do that? If you are a Gmail client user, There's a way to format canned responses, and you can select which canned response you want to use. For Outlook, use Signature section for your templates. You can create as many signatures as you want, and they can be as long as you want. No one ever said you have to just put your signature block there. Fill it up with templates. I like to use Outlook, but many of my clients use Gmail to view and process their email. You can't set up your templates in the signature field in Gmail. You have to go about it a different way. If you want to know how to set up and use templates in either Gmail or Outlook, hop over to the show notes for links for my tutorials. I've created short videos sharing my screen showing you step-by-step what to do. Just go over to scrivenersolutions.com/22 and you'll see the links in the show notes. Like I said, templates are a huge time saver for me. But what to do with the emails that you want to save? I've already told you I use Evernote to forward emails that I want to keep as examples in my swipe file. Then I delete them from my inbox. I delete things that I know I don't want to keep. Things like ads or simple emails from people that there's no need to keep. What's left are primarily emails that are from my clients. Many of those I may want to keep. Remember, I've gotten away from those tons of folders within my email, so I don't have to mess with so much clutter. Where do I put them? I send them to my CRM. If you aren't familiar with what I'm talking about, a CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management System. Because I have a medical background, I think in terms of patient records. I was in the medical field during the conversion of electronic medical records. I started out with paper files with tons of paper and aisles of cabinets. Everything for the patient was stored in their medical record. There was a place for their demographic information, a place for their allergies, a place for visit notes, their history, their family history, a place for labs and outside records. Even miscellaneous correspondence had its place. Then we moved into electronic medical records, which was simply a database that held all the stuff we kept in the paper file, just in digital form. That's how I view the CRM. It's simply my client's digital file folder. If I want to keep any correspondence from my client, I need to get it into their file folder. If I have notes that I want to keep on a prospect or client, then it goes into my CRM. There are a ton of CRM choices out there. I happen to use Less Annoying CRM for my business. It's simple, affordable, straightforward, and well, it's less annoying. There are many features within the database that fits my needs and my business. One of the features it has is that you can store email communication in the database. In your account, you are given a special email logging address. When you email a client and you want to keep the communication in their file, you use that special email address in the blind CC field. When you do this, it routes the email to the person's email address who you are sending the email to. If you don't have that person loaded in your CRM, then a record is automatically created. Whether you send one or hundreds of emails to that one contact, they are all stored in their customer record. That's pretty cool. What's even better, say a client emails me and I respond to it. Before sending it, I put that special routing email address in the BCC field, and like magic, my response email goes right to their customer record in my CRM. On top of that, if someone sends me an email response and I don't need to respond back to them, but I want to keep that documentation, I simply forward the email to that special routing email Less Annoying CRM has assigned to me. Again, magically, Less Annoying CRM knows who sent me the email and routes it to their customer record. Once I send the email to Less Annoying CRM, I delete it out of my email. Less clutter in my inbox. Just a side note here, it doesn't send attachments automatically. At least I can't figure that out yet. If I must keep that attachment, then I have a couple of ways that I do that. It just depends on what the attachment is to where I file it. Another thing that dramatically cuts down on how many emails I get in my inbox is that I implemented using Slack for our team communication. Slack is an instant messaging system. Now, I rarely get an email from anyone on the Scrivener Solutions team. We do all of our communication through Slack. This keeps our email less cluttered, and I think that we have better communication and more focused communication with each other. Wow, we've covered a lot today, and I hope you enjoyed today's show and found it helpful. Soon, enrollment for the Accomplish More Academy will be open, and I'm super excited about launching the Academy. It's going to be a place where we'll go over in much more detail some things that we talked about today, like setting up email templates and figuring out how to set up your CRM easily, for example. Don't come easily for everyone. I love all those techy things and the techy tools, but I fully recognize that not everyone catches on as quickly as others may. And that's perfectly okay not to be techy. What's not okay, at least in my opinion, is to let the techy stuff limit you and hold you back. Instead of struggling or wasting time trying to figure out some of the tech stuff, wouldn't it be nice to have a place where you are free to ask questions and be shown how to do things? The Accomplish More Academy is training for the busy entrepreneur who may feel like they aren't very good with computers and are apprehensive about the technology. We will have coaching and live training calls to cut to the chase, so to speak. You'll be able to get over your apprehension about the tech stuff. You'll learn how tools are set up and how they interact. Whether you do any given process yourself or delegate it, you'll understand the tools better so you can develop better strategies and systems for your business. When you're ready to delegate a task that you may learn in the Academy, you will be able to manage the process better and with confidence. If that's something you would like to learn more about, go to accomplishmoreacademy.com and sign up to receive more information before I open up enrollment to everyone. Thanks again for tuning in. I'd be honored if you'd subscribe on iTunes and leave a comment. And don't forget that you can get all the resources mentioned today in today's episode in the show notes by going to scrivenersolutions.com/22. That's Scrivener, SCRIVENER, solutions.com/22. Until next time, have a fantastic week.